Thanks for watching. I think you're really going to like this video. I think it's going to be a very important game changer if you're the type of player that plays pretty well, but you really want to get to the next level, or really for anybody, I think. But Eric, today we're going to be talking about good players that they're playing pretty good, but they're just not getting their approach shots close enough to give them, to go from just like two putting to like, okay, this is a legitimate birdie chance here, and getting more of those birdie chances. Today I'm here with Eric Meichtry. Hey, Eric.
Good to see you. Doing
this a little backwards today.
Yeah.
So Eric has won over 50 times professionally as a professional golfer, still a professional golfer as he goes for the Champions Tour because he just turned 50. So an exciting point in his life. The cool thing about golf is you can still have some kind of a pipe dream that goes on for a very, very long time.
Rookie again.
Yeah. A rookie all over again. So Eric, what's the difference between, like, because you've played with every single level of golfer, from the complete novice that has no chance of ever being any good, all the way to some of the best players in the world ever. What's the difference in the player that's like pretty good, but is just not getting those approaches as good as, like, let's say like a guy like Zach Johnson or Webb Simpson or something like that?
The ability to solve the puzzle.
Okay.
So every golf shot is a mini puzzle that requires the optimal amount of spin, flight, shape, trajectory, speed, and when we have time to develop our skill and hours of mastering different combinations of shaft lean and club face speed and all that, there's so much more available to us that we can look at any kind of 100-yard shot, and we have so many different combinations to solve the puzzle. The average golfer doesn't have that many, so they just take a 100-yard shot, whether it be into the wind, downwind, or whatever, and they're hitting their 100-yard club, but it often doesn't match what the puzzle needs because it's too much spin or it's too high, so it can't, or so it rips back, whatever it is. So what we get to do is sit here and practice all day and explore different combinations, which then allow us to get to more hole locations than you.
So let's talk about kind of breaking that puzzle before we get into the technical like stuff, which we will, because I think it's important. But I'm going to give you kind of like a puzzle, and then just let us put it like a little microphone inside your brain about how you would be breaking that down. So hit 3 different 100-yard shots, but I'll kind of paint the picture for you, and then you tell me how you would solve this. So it's 100 yards to that hole location where Tiger putted out at the U.S. Open in 2008. Remember when he made the big putt and the fist pumps, right before the next day playoff with Rocco. So it's banked from back to front a lot, and it's on it's very narrow in that little bowl here. Ideally, maybe you would want to land it a little bit past it because there's almost nothing in front of it,
right.
And then there is water left of it. So you know that shot. So how would you play that 100-yard shot?
So it's probably flighted down just a little, and we're using that bank behind it and to the right to bring it back to the hole. Because if I get anything that's going maybe a little higher with spin at the hole, we're going to get it around, land it around the hole. In U.S. Open conditions, maybe not all the spin, but it's going to spin away down towards the front, which isn't so bad. We got an uphill putt. But
right.
We're talking about trying to like hold a wedge shot.
Right.
So it'd be kind of maybe a little lower flighted, softer armed swing where I'm letting this fall down and I'm turning through it with my body just enough to where this head isn't ripping through here with a lot of speed, creating spin. And
so it feels like more of a body shot to you?
I use that term a lot with my students.
Okay.
A lot of body shots.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I love body shots, let's say inside 150 yards.
Yeah.
Right. So not even the wedges, but inside of 150, I think body shots are fantastic. It gives a lot of leverage to the club head.
There you go. So are you landing that like at the stick and then hoping it'll stick, or you're landing just short and having it go up?
Because there's not a lot of spin, it might come in a little short, and then go up to it.
Roll to it, cool.
Yeah.
Okay, so here's a different kind of shot would be, so let's think about just like in the British Open when everything is just rock hard and dry. It's 100 yards, but it's a massive green, and the hole is way in the back. So I don't know, maybe you would have to even land it at like 60 yards or something, or something like that. Like, let's just imagine like in that Tom Watson against Stuart Singh thing where it just falls off afterwards, and it's just like, it's not going to be a good spot. So how would you protect from it going a little too long? But
I like, for the way I like to solve is I like my ball sneaking up to the hole.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
So I take the back out. So when I take the back out, I don't have a lot of speed in my shot. It's coming in, again, another body shot coming in kind of soft. If I have speed with a lot of spin, those are variables now that, for me, other players like it, that's fine. For me, I like to minimize the variables so everything comes out just kind of neutral.
Okay.
So when it comes out neutral, then I find my spot. If I have all that green to work with, I find that spot. If it's 60 yards in the air at the right trajectory, that's going to get another 40 on the ground, not 45, another 40 or 35, right? So now I'm looking at 95 yards, whatever. I'm not going past 100 if that's the target number.
Now, what are you doing to say like that is taking out 105 or 110 yards? What are you doing that's making sure it's not going to go? Is it a certain bot? So that's just like, this feels like, and you're just like, erring on the shorter side.
Just erring on the shorter side.
Okay.
If I have a ball throwing to you, I know what it takes to get to you at the right pace where I'm not going to break a knuckle.
Right.
That's it. Right. So I don't want to bring it in there.
Whoa. Right. Yeah.
So, so it's just getting the right, and through all of our practice, and I know what it feels like to get 60 in the air and 40 on the ground.
Let's see it.
Right. So ball would go back in the stance just a little bit to bring the flight down, and again, just another body shot.
Oh yeah, that's really good. Kind of an abrupt finish there, almost a little bit.
The energy spent right here.
Okay, yeah.
So I'm not.
Rather than a lot of players I see like hit it and they kind of soupy into it,
If I'm,
you're like zip.
If I want to go up, then this will get let go. This arm will stay a little closer to my side,
right?
And this head will get let go a little bit, and it'll come up there. But if I'm trying to,
flight it.
If I got 40 yards of green, I don't want this head going too much underneath and coming up. That'll be a softer flight.
Right. Okay, so let's talk about like a PGA West or some kind of like Palm La Quinta kind of course where it's over a large bunker, and the pin is right in the front. It's 100 yards again, and the wind's into well, let's say the wind's, there's no wind. But you feel like you might want to hit it really high, get it over the bunker, and just stop it right by the hole. So how would that look?
That would be, I got 54 here, I'd go to the 58, but I'll do it with this one.
You would hit a 58 from 100, just a little different.
If I'm trying to get to a short pin, I'll go a little bit harder, a little bigger swing, a little higher finish to let it go, because I want this to go up, have a little more speed through it so we get some spin, right?
Oh yeah, your finish is totally different.
Yeah.
That's really good. Okay, so then how do you, getting into more of like the approach wedges and approach short irons, how do you get people, like, let's say, like, because a lot of people have a number for each club. Let's say that they know they hit their pitching wedge 130 yards. How do you get people to say, to start going beyond that and saying like, okay, well, how do I make this, how do you make one shot go 135 but a different shot go 126? How do you start adjusting it? Now this would be for like a really good player that wants to like make money at it or get beat other college players or something like that. But how do you get those adjustments in yards there?
Time.
Okay. There's no shortcut to it.
Technique. There's no shortcuts to it.
Right.
I have to develop a skill that I know what it takes for me to get this ball to you at the right trajectory to find your hand. So how do I learn that? I learned it when I was a kid. Yeah. Just throwing things at whatever.
And it's not like learning something out of a book. It's body learning and brain learning. Yeah.
We have neuron highways that connect, and the way that we start to own something is repeating it over and over. So there's no shortcuts to that. I have to do it to understand what to get this and how much of my wrist and my elbow and my shoulder takes to get to you at the right trajectory. If I back up 15 yards, it's going to take a little bit of my body. If I back up another 15, I probably got to go this way. I just know by instinct. So how did I learn the instinct? By doing it.
One thing I find hard when you certain wedges, certain yardages you just don't like. But so like if I have a yardage that like how far do you hit your 8-iron? Like a stock?
155, 160.
Okay, so if you hit it 160, let's say in a given condition, but you have a shot that's 164. So it's a little bit more than that, but it would be quite a. Do you rather err on the side of hitting that shot hard, like the 8-iron hard, or the 7-iron and taking more off of it?
Again, that'll depend on hole location, if it's a front one or a back one, what flight I want. It depends, and it also depends on how my body would feel right now.
Okay.
So
right.
So a lot of times what I see players do, if 8-irons like max 160.
Yeah.
And their distance is 164.
Yeah.
They try to hit the 8-iron 164.
Yeah.
Hit it 160.
Yeah.
It's okay. Be 12 feet short.
Right.
It's not a big, right?
Yeah.
Just hit it.
Know in your mind, like, okay, it is 164, but I'm trying to hit it 160. I'm trying to do what I do. Yeah.
And they don't feel comfortable, gripping down or slowing down a 7-iron, but don't try to hit the 8-iron 164. Hit it 160 as long as the pin's not in the front. There's a bunker water short, but if it's in the middle of the green, just leave it 4 yards short.
Okay.
Fine.
So in your mind, it's not a layup, but it's almost like that because you're hitting not to the target. You're going.
This is all it can go.
Yeah.
I'm not going to try to get it. If I start pushing this further than it can go, I get out of sync.
So I'm going to ask you to hit a bad shot. So hit that one. I mean, you probably could do it, but hit that one in a way that you think would be wrong, where like you could tell if you were your coach, you could tell like, oh, you overextended yourself on that.
Like trying to go too
far?
It's
trying to hit that 170 or 168.
Okay.
This is an 8-iron, folks. Oh, I can hear that. And then a lot of times, I don't know why, but a lot of times when people put a lot of extra effort into it, it's thin.
Oh, my whole body just rattled.
Okay. All right, so let's see the difference between that. Now let's say, okay, it's still 168, but you're just going to hit this 162.
Yeah.
Yeah. So knowing that he's going to come up 6 steps short. Oh, yeah. This is an 8-iron. And the funny is, a lot of times that'll actually go further.
Yeah.
The one with less effort will go further.
Yeah. The golf swing is the ultimate team sport.
Okay.
Okay. So we have all these body parts that we're trying to get to work together. And you look at say an NFL team, and let's just look at 11 players, not the defense, and let's just look at 11 players. A coach is trying to organize them because they all have different personalities and different philosophies until they all come together. And a coach tries to organize them and get on the same page. How do they do that? Just months and months and hours in the training center and in the classroom, going through plays, getting players to understand this is the assignment. So then a well-coached team can get on the field and everybody's on the same page. And then it's clockwork. Everybody's doing what they're supposed to. Golf swing's very similar. We have so many different moving parts that we're trying to get to do the same thing with it at the same time with the rest of the parts.
Yeah.
So how do we do that? It's just months and months and hours of hitting balls and getting information and putting it together until it's synced up.
And really simplifying the task for all those parts. Like that's why when you talk so much about hitting, like you'll do right now, like a 20% shot, that just kind of gets all these different teammates onto the same page. This is basically what everybody's got to do, and then you're going to have these kind of secondary tasks to this of impact. So a lot of these kind of train getting everybody on the same page, and then it'll come to a full one like this, which in your brain it doesn't feel that much different, does it? Between that shot and the full one?
No, because going back to the the transition and 10 being the top, they all, I feel like wherever I stop this thing, from 10 to 8 or 7, it feels the same whether I'm stopping it here or going all the way to the top.
Okay. Oh yeah, really good. What do you think is the difference between the players, generally, the difference between the players that can have the ability to really hit those iron and wedge shots just like a little closer than everybody else? Like I know that like certain players, like they get like 2 or 3 like tap-ins like around almost like routinely. Not even on like par 5s. I'm just like the iron shot tap-ins or wedge shot tap-ins. And then other players seem to be just as good, but they're like always putting from 10 steps away. What do you think the difference is between those two players, you know, at the real high level?
Yeah, time spent, again, knowing how far a wedge goes. If you're trying to hit 100, you can get it 100. And I played a lot. One of my favorite guys to play with over the years has been Jeff Hart.
Yeah.
Know that name from, you know, a lot of Southern California Champions
PGA Tour, Champions Tour, and plus he still plays today in a lot of Long Beach Open he plays, and things like that. Yeah,
he's still playing a ton. The sweetest guy, and he hits it nowhere.
Right.
It just doesn't hit it very far. So what does he have to do? He's got to chip and putt the crap out of it. Right. And he does.
And when he has a 105-yard shot, he's got to know it goes 105 exactly.
It's so good.
Okay.
It's so clean, and what I've watched with him over the years is how soft he is.
Okay.
How soft he is around the greens and how soft he is inside 100 yards. It's just really fun to watch his body just kind of get that club up, and it just kind of comes down and drops on the back of the ball, and he just kind of glides through and ho-hum.
Kind of like you did with that first one, the second one, the flighted wedge shot. Though, how do we be soft without being sloppy? Because I see what, like, a lot of times when people try to get soft, they start looking like float loady and sloppy, and they lose awareness for the leading edges. So how do we combo those two things? Soft but control. Oh, it's transition.
It's getting all of this, again, getting the whole team to work together. So this gets set up and everybody has a job to do. It's getting this to get up to here together, and then from here it just kind of falls down, and then it turns, goes through, and it just glides through. So getting the information on how to put that together, and then getting the feel on what it feels like to get to here and come down without it being that, without this club being away from my body.
Show me that again.
So a lot of body, the bad one. So I see a lot of this, and this will kind of come up and get left behind and then kind of flip through. That's not the softness we're talking about. The softness we're talking about is not a lot of speed through the bottom with this, but more like we've talked earlier, body shots where it's just up and gliding through. So we don't need a lot of speed with the wedges, especially playing recreational golf, because greens aren't that firm. We don't need a ton of speed and height. We just need to be controlling this, leveraged by this, gliding through, finding bottom, and sending it 100 yards. A little bit flighted.
Do you have a name for that? What do you call that when a player has that? Because I see that a lot. It's a float and snap kind of thing where they're, especially people who in their mind want to have lag, you know, you see them go like hold, like kind of float and hold, and then really try to kind of get it out.
Yeah, I watch it all day.
Okay, yeah, especially people who like research the golf swing a lot. They seem to have that kind of swing.
Yeah, they're trying to get in here and get in here deep.
Yeah, in the slot deep.
Slot deep, right? And then they're in here trying to get this, and a lot of it is they're getting this, and they don't realize how stuck they're getting themselves, because they get here and they're stuck. This can't just glide through here. It's got to kind of flip through. What they're getting is they're in the rehearsal, they're getting this up here.
So it looks good.
Yeah. But then in the reality, it's like, geez, this is way back here still. I can't.
So your brain reacts to that.
Yeah. That's a high level move that these guys are doing. When we see George Gankis and the stuff that these guys are doing, when they get this and they get this shoulder going this way, it's like, wow, you get really stuck. So things have to kind of flip around and get through here. I like it just simple and boring. Here, in here, just turning through.
Right.
So again, we're trying to get this to return back there as simple as we can. And when we can keep it a little more on the body, it gives us a better chance to return it and just glide through.
Thanks everybody. I hit one. I always got to hit one in a video. I gotta try to hit a 100-yard shot. All right, so paint a little 100-yard shot for me here and tell me what kind of shot you'd like to see.
We just want to stock pins right in the middle. I'm making it easy for you.
Yeah.
Pins right in the middle of the green.
Okay.
Well, actually, let's go to Eldorado.
Eldorado, yeah.
Number one. We got 100 yards.
Okay.
You hit a great tee shot. Pin is right in the middle. Little slope from back to front.
Mm-hmm.
Don't want a lot of spin on it.
Okay.
I've hit this shot a few times.
Yep. That'd be fine.
Yeah.
Just passed it and wouldn't spin. Downhill putt. Thanks for watching, everybody. You guys can learn more about Eric on Instagram is the best way to contact him, or you can come out and here and see him we are at Rancho California Golf Course right now. We're considering doing a Be Better Golf School out here. So if you're interested in doing that with Eric and I in March, that would be this March of 2020. We're kind of doing a survey to see level of interest, because I think there's a lot of people that would like that. I think it would be a lot of fun as well for like 2 days. Also, click the subscribe button and also hit the post notification bell there, because as we're going to start to do a lot more live videos. Thanks for watching, everybody. Bye.
Cheers.